Prime Minister, certain First Nations want federal funding to undertake research and excavation of residential school burial sites across Canada. Will you pay for this?
I think that is an important part of discovering the truth. We have, as I said, already put money forward a few budgets ago on initiatives around residential school cemeteries. There is obviously more to do, and I think there will be more that we will do. We have committed as a government to be there for reconciliation, but also to be there for truth, and that is an important step. So yes, we will be there to work with communities on the things they need and on the things we all need to know.
Follow-up, Dylan?
And Prime Minister, advocates say that Ottawa needs to lead a standardized process to ensure that evidence is properly gathered at mass graves, not just cemeteries, instead of leaving that up to a patchwork province approach. Have you tasked any federal departments to start coming up with standards?
I know that Ministers Miller, Minister Bennett, and Minister Van Daal are deeply engaged in this issue, and we are looking for how we can support Indigenous communities in their grief and in their requests for answers. I know there will be many, many discussions to be had in the coming days and weeks about how we can best support these communities and get to the truth. I think the proposal around a standardized approach makes a lot of sense, but of course, we will work with the provinces and territories to make sure that we're all doing the right thing.
Thank you. Next question, operator.
The next question is from Annie Bergeron-Oliver from CTV National News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Prime Minister. Thank you for taking my question. I just want to follow up on what my colleague Dylan said. Will you commit to helping Indigenous communities conduct an examination and investigation of every former residential school site?
We are committed to reconciliation. We are committed to truth. We are committed to being there to help Indigenous communities understand the past and move forward into the future the right way. And as they make requests, as there is a need for discovering more, we will continue to be there. We haven't looked at exactly what the process is or the needs are entirely, but Canada will be there to support Indigenous communities as we discover the extent of this trauma and try to give opportunities for families and communities to heal.
Follow-up?
And as my follow-up, yes, you say that there is more to do. What specifically are you talking about when you say there is more for the government to do? And I know you have that meeting today with Minister Bennett and Minister Miller. What are your focus priorities going to be for that meeting on how you can help immediately and in the long term?
Well, what is there more to do on reconciliation? An awful lot. We need to continue to close the socioeconomic gaps within Indigenous communities and non-Indigenous communities. We need to be investing in Indigenous entrepreneurship programs, which we already have, but we need to move forward. We need to make sure there are better schools and better supports for child and family services as we move forward on Bill C-92 last year and are implementing that, but there's still certain work to be done with certain provinces in terms of making that a reality. We need to move forward to do a better job, even on top of Bill 91 that we passed, to recognize Indigenous languages and support those. We need to do more to support residential school survivors and help with the healing process and go at the intergenerational trauma that exists right across the country in Indigenous communities. We need to do more on the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls tragedy that it continues to happen in this country. We know there's an important anniversary coming up later this week, and we're going to continue to invest and partner with Indigenous communities and activists to make sure that we are responding and ending this violence that continues to run unchecked in too many parts of the country. We need to continue to work on settling land claims and moving forward on self-government agreements to get out from under the colonial relic that is the Indian Act. We know that it's important that it be done at the pace of the communities themselves, that they be in charge of that process. But we need to be there as full partners as they move towards self-government. We need to continue the work that we've done. We've lifted 107 long-term boil water advisories. There's still more to do. We're going to continue to work on that. There are so many things we need to continue to work on, and we will. This government is committed to reconciliation. We are committed to the truth. We're committed to the partnership that means the solutions will not be dictated from Ottawa, but will be worked on together with Indigenous communities. And I think this is a moment in time, this horrific revelation from Kamloops is something that is striking the hearts of Canadians from coast to coast to coast as what a horrific reality residential schools were. This may not come as a tremendous surprise to many Indigenous Canadians who've long known the horrors and the trauma of loss of brothers and sisters and cousins and children in residential schools. But Canadians may not, non-Indigenous Canadians may not have understood the depth of the trauma for those families, for the family members who survived, for those who came through and watched their schoolmates disappear without a trace. These are the things that Canada is waking up to this week, and it's a difficult and hard awakening, but it is one that we need to take as a responsibility to move forward even stronger on reconciliation.